Objectives as an organization are to fundraise to support our school activities and events. We typically have social events to bring home and school into a closer relationship, and also make ourselves available to be volunteers in our school where needed. This year, we don't have a lot of events going on. What we do have, we've transitioned to virtual where it makes sense. And so we're taking a little bit of a break from socializing as we typically would in our schools. So we'll hope to see some of those events come back next year. Our focus efforts really are to continue fundraising in a virtual manner as best as we're able to help provide things that we have normally in the past to the school, whether that's library additions, technology, items that may have been needed for COVID, but that I think got covered differently, but different things that school needs that we can help out with and fundraise for and purchase where it wouldn't necessarily be included in a budget. So as you see the agenda here, can I get a motion to approve the agenda and then a second? Here's where it gets a little bit tricky, so I give you permissions to unmute yourselves.
I motion to approve.
Thanks.
Lynn.
I second that.
And who was the second?
Allison.
Thanks, Allison. All in favor say yes.
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 And no, same sign. An easy way I found, I just realized this, you just hold down your space bar to unmute yourself temporarily. Is that right? So that works too, to just quickly unmute yourself, just hold down your space bar. So, all right, moving on to November of last year minutes. Jill, would you be able to toggle over to those? All of our minutes are also posted online at robertfrostpto.org. If you're ever curious to go back and take a peek at what we've done in the past. We'll give everybody just a few minutes here to take a quick look. All right, if everyone's had a chance to look over those, can I get a motion to approve November 2020 minutes?
So moved. Tim.
Thanks, Tim. And a second?
I'll second, Alyssa.
Thank you, Alyssa. All in favor say yes.
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 Thank you. And no, same sign? All right, November minutes are approved. And now we'll move into only a couple of things here for past events. Jill, do you have anything you'd like to announce or re-announce as far as our quiz bowl?
Sure. So the quiz bowl that happened this year, well, I can't remember the date. It was in November, I believe.
It was.
Was a little bit nervous of how it would go, how successful it would be, because it was all completely virtual. And also with the crunch of people's financials and budgets and all that stuff. But we did make our school-wide goal, which was $16,000 raised. And we just squeaked by that amount as far as the deadline. So we had movie parties for all of the classes as the school-wide prize, as well as treats for everybody. And we are waiting for spiritware to be delivered for the next round and ordered for the people who won shirts as part of their prizes. But other than that, all of the quiz bowl prizes have been delivered and handed out.
Very good. And just a reminder for those that are new with us tonight that Quiz Bowl is really our one organized fundraiser that we do in a school year. We don't do a lot of selling items, whether that be magazine sales or cookie dough sales or wreath sales, those types of things. Just find that this is just a very easy ask to parents and grandparents and close friends and families to help support their child in our school with just based on just their knowledge. They're really interactive quizzes for those kids. They're age appropriate questions, and it really does kind of pull school and fundraising together. So thank you to Jill for all of the efforts put into that. It really is quite a task. So I really appreciate all that you do for Quiz Bowl. Spiritware, this was our first year of going directly with a vendor to handle Spiritware. It is another big activity that takes a lot of time when we did it on our own. And so looked to Dakota Sports this year to open up an online store that offered lots of different varieties, whether it was t-shirts, sweatshirts, activity or activewear, hats and things. And from all of what I've heard so far that everybody liked what was offered, and we were able to recut. Can you tell Dad to please be quiet? We were able to record an $800 profit from this activity. So no expenses, just because all of those are taken out of each online order. So I think that was a good first run. I think we rushed it to get in that first one because we were a little bit behind this year getting everything pulled together, but hoping to do another one. Well, we will do another one in the spring that will give a little bit more time for everyone to take a look at the different offerings. I know that there's a couple of comments that looking for some long sleeve t-shirts. If anybody has any suggestions or that they'd like to offer as far as Spiritware, please unmute yourself and comments, suggestions, concerns. All right, hearing none, we will look to have another Spiritware store then probably in February or March is what I'm looking at. So again, if you have any thoughts, you can go ahead and email us directly, and our email is at the bottom of the agenda. For upcoming events, our virtual hobby fair has gone virtual this year. In normal years, we would invite all of the children to bring their hobby to school. They would set up their hobby, and for about 45 minutes to an hour, we invite all of the families to come and take a look at all of the different hobbies in a very casual environment. It's not competitive. It's just really giving all of the kids an opportunity to show what they love to do. So whether that's art or karate or collections, lots of different things. Everyone gets an opportunity to show what they love to do. So this year, what we thought we'd do is make it virtual, and so have asked families to consent to have their child participate. And what we'll do then is parents will submit a photo and a short video of their child showcasing their hobby, and we will host those on our webpage for a short period of time. We'll send out the links on the date of the hobby fair, which is January 28th. I think it's a Thursday. And then it'll be live for about 3 to 4 weeks. And you can share that link with your friends and family to let your child show their hobby. So far we've got about 13 students signed up to participate, and that's great. I think because this is such an easy activity for us to implement digitally, we'll probably send out another announcement to please feel free to sign up. We do need their consent for the photos and videos online. So we do need to know if they'll be participating ahead of time. So if your child has not signed up yet, the link is provided there. So please feel free to sign up today.
Jill or Jennifer?
Yes.
I had a question about hobby fair.
Yes.
So we have a student whose hobby is comedy, and someday this kid probably will be a very famous comedian. I told him he needs to remember all of us when he is rich and famous. So question I have though is if his hobby is comedy and he wants to do like a stand-up thing that his parents will video,
Mhm.
he also, this kid's pretty forward thinking. He also, as he calls it, has merch, which I didn't know means merchandise.
Come
It's
on,
merch.
Lynn.
I'm not
Yeah.
even kidding. I was like, what's merch? And so he has t-shirts that say his first name blank is funny. And he's like, yeah, Mrs. Gillette, I've got merch that I would like to get out. I'm wondering if you could help me with this. And I said, well, let me think about some different things. But like I told his teacher, because he wanted to actually be on the student wanted to be on the morning announcements and like sell his merch, wanted me to
Okay.
promote him. And I
Okay.
said, well, I told his teacher, I'm like, what I do for one, I have to do for all. So if someone's really into making jewelry, then I've got to use morning messages to promote jewelry and all this stuff. And I said, also, got to think about it. I really don't want money coming to school and kids buying the students' merch. And then I've got whole stores going on and it's just, kind of crazy. So I didn't know if he does a video for his hobby and he has t-shirts, is he allowed on the video to say, and if you want one of my t-shirts, here's how you order one, and then his parents would have to take care of money and all that jazz. Like I don't want to be the middleman or anything like that. I can just see that phone call from Dr. Savum already. So is it okay? Or like if somebody's making bracelets, that's their hobby. And if they want to sell, or do we, and I'm okay with saying, no, we're not doing any selling. Hobby fair is just sharing hobbies and interests and leaving it at that. I'm fine with that too. But I do want to check it out. I did not say to him, I'm going to check with PTO. So if we decide we don't want to do that, nobody's the bad guy. You know what I'm saying? So
Right. Well, it's a year for a lot of firsts. So I think that if he can get I don't know. I'll let anybody. Oh, hey, Sonia. I expanded my views. I couldn't see everybody before. Does anybody have any? I always like to think of negative consequences. Does anybody have any that came out right away that I don't have? I don't have any right now.
Would be fun.
Definitely an entrepreneur. Whoa.
I think we should encourage it, but how?
My point of view would be like as long as the parent or whoever else is handling all the money, all the sales, and PTO and or the school doesn't touch any of it. Like when you said, I don't see a reason to prohibit that kind of thing. At the end of the video, if he has a website, he can put the website on the video, or call my mom to order my shirt. Mom has to be okay with having her phone number out there, but
that's the thing for communication. Since we don't really have direct access to parents, I'm thinking about, okay, like you said, if you set the standard for one and you'd have to do it for all, I feel like the burden would probably most likely fall on you, Lynn, for communicating other students' things, unless you said, no, we can do it through PTO and you have to be present at a PTO event to be able to communicate your thing.
Yeah, I really want to be careful to not blow something up. I think having an avenue such as the hobby fair would be, it seems appropriate and doable because it really falls on them and it has to be tied to your hobby and all the money has to go through your family. I don't see this really, I think if it's done in this way, I don't see it really blowing up and being completely unmanageable. Next year, we might have a few more that are like, hey, I have bracelets and who knows, when I talk to his mom about it, she might be like, no way, he should not have even come and talked to you about it. But before I called mom, I at least wanted to see where we were at. And so what I hear you guys saying is there's no strong objections. And in fact, their support that if they're taking their hobby and they're turning it into something that's making them money, go ahead and let them do that. They still fall within all the parameters of the hobby fair requirements, and anything that is money wise has to be done outside of school. And that's where I would make it really clear that even if you see it at the hobby, you're on the hobby fair and you want a shirt, you must go through the channel outside of school. We cannot do any exchanging of merch and money in school, because there's
Right.
there's enough going on, and that's the last thing we want are problems with
Mhm.
finances and stuff.
I'm thinking
So
about.
Lynn, let me ask you this. If this event were to be going on in the school like normal, like that evening, would there be any rules against allowing that physically in the school building during an event, or because this is virtual, it's okay?
Oh, that's a really good question. In my mind, even if it was in person, I was okay with it. But you know what? I do need to check with IPC to see what the rules are for that. And if I think that whatever the rule is, or I think we just apply it the same way. That way, if we get to a point where we don't have to do this virtually anymore and we really do it, in person, we're not having any major shift of rules. So I will check with Brent and Todd on that, and then I'll get back to you guys.
And
Maybe
I'm
they could do business cards or something and have business cards ready to handle those transactions outside of. Sorry, go ahead, Scania.
I'm thinking about a couple of years back when we talked about an entrepreneur fair, I guess. I don't know. Remember when that discussion came up and we kind of bounced it around and then dropped it?
I do vaguely remember talking about entrepreneurs, and couldn't remember if that was a separate fair or if that was included into like was it Fabulous Friday or Future Friday? So yeah, check it out and see what they say, and business cards at the least, if they're able to offer their business card to handle transactions on the side. Anybody else have any thoughts about hobby fair? Okay, teacher conference meals. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited about this, you guys. Holy smokes. Without being able, normally our teacher conference meals we would provide, I don't remember if we've even done all three before, but our teachers do have to still go to school to do their virtual conferences. But any other year we would provide meals for our teachers while they're there in the evening times and during the off times when there's no school, but they're still in school doing conferences. And normally we've done potluck type things, whether it's a taco bar or maybe we've purchased another meal. But this year we're purchasing all three meals. I think that Danielle Cleveland has gotten some really nice selections to offer at really reasonable prices. And so we figured, I think my first run at numbers was incorrect. Maybe sometimes I wonder why I'm in the position I am, but my fundraising goal was off a bit. But just today, after we sent out the link to have people sign up and donate and sponsor a teacher, we had 57 signups in less than 2 hours of the 60 that we needed. And then all of them were taken care of within 4 hours. And I checked in with Tim to say, hey, I think we're going to have yeah, he goes, yeah, I'm getting messages each time somebody was donating. So we kind of overloaded Tim's phone today with donations, which is kind of a good thing. Sorry it's during the working day, but it just shows how much our families really support our teachers. And I was giddy for about 2 hours there. It just worked out so well for everyone to have a platform to donate and support their teachers.
So when I went to try to donate, the link wasn't working. Did you take it down when?
Something wasn't, when I looked right away this morning, something wasn't quite right about it. I don't know what it was. And so I had Sherry look into it again, and she worked some magic. And then all of a sudden I noticed on the eve they were all working again. So I don't know what happened. But once that second email went out at noon today, everything seemed to be working fine. So I don't know. I don't know if somehow it was hooked up into parent link to the communication systems, and it just wasn't quite right. So, but luckily we got it fixed. Let's see, virtual, so book fair. We're gonna attempt another virtual book fair during conferences. Scholastic has had to pivot like we all have, and they've learned quite a bit going all virtual. And so I think that one of the biggest downfall for the book fair last go around, thank you, was that they didn't have the link open before the day they opened the fair. So parents could not preview our fair, which their guidelines for communication was kind of lost on everyone because nobody could go look at the fair to see it before the day it actually opened. So our sales were not great, and I think that would be typical anyway. When you think of our book fair, when you have all the open cases and you bring your child through after their conferences and they can look at all of these shiny, beautiful, colorful books, it's just not the same when you're doing it online. So I knew sales would be a bit down, but wasn't quite expecting it like that, but we're going to give it another shot. And I'm working with other Scholastic coordinators in Sioux Falls at different schools to see, can we brainstorm options and come together and see, how can we do this better, and see if we can sell more books so that our library can use those very necessary funds to purchase more books for the library. The link is included there. Our ordering can start on January 18th and it will go to January 31st. Book only orders over $25 ship free to homes. So it's super easy. Nice to have the ship to home option, but if you add anything else to your order that's not a book, you no longer get the shipping free option. Anybody have any questions about a virtual book fair? Okay. And then Spiritware, we'll have another, we're working to get another spring Spiritware store open. And then in chair reports for ongoing events, I always leave these here as a reminder to continue to, Box Tops has also gone digital. So you can download the Box Tops for Education app to your phone, and you now scan your receipts. And sometimes after I scan my receipt, I realized that there was actually Box Tops on some of the products I had, and I didn't even know it. So you just scan your receipt, whether it's from Walmart or Hy-Vee, and it automatically finds those and it puts that money into our account. So it's super easy. You just have to remember to do it. If anybody shops Amazon, please select Robert Frost as your rewards recipient. We'd love to take your money. I don't know a better way to put that. Coca-Cola Gives. You can still turn in your Coke caps. Maybe your business has Coke caps, or somebody buys Coke in cases, any Coke product really. Could be even water. I know they have lots of different things, but still save your Coke caps and you can turn those into the entryway at our school, send them with your child. Or if you want to scan them yourself, you can as well. I have the link there. So each cap is worth 5 cents. Not a lot, but if you have some bored kids that need something to do, they can scan those caps. And once you reach $10, they send us a check. And then also pop tabs. We still have a volunteer that's willing to take those over to the Ronald McDonald House, and they do lots of great things with the money that they're able to get from the pop tab program. All right, principal report. Lynn or Alyssa, whoever wants to go.
You're stuck with me, Lynn.
All right.
All right. So one of the things I want to share with you guys is this year, our staff, I am so proud of everyone because we're in this pandemic and we're learning how to do things new ways. And our teachers also are teaching in person, and now they're doing virtual lessons and just really conquering so much. And our students are doing an amazing job of hand washing and wearing their masks and being so respectful of one another. And it's just been amazing to see all of our Roadrunners pull together. And it's such a bummer that we can't have visitors, because I wish the public could see how well our school is doing with everything. I'm just so proud of them. And so even in spite of the pandemic and everything that we're doing, our learning as a staff continues. And something that we are really focusing on this year is helping students goal set, and then giving them one-to-one feedback, and then helping students track their progress. So really trying to help students set their goals, monitor their progress, make changes as needed while we provide that feedback to them. And so a lot of our professional development in our staff meetings and in our in-services has really revolved around those aspects and has been so cohesive. We've really just stripped back to go slower to go further. And the saying that we used to say was go slower to go faster. And I said, I think we need to really think about that, because words are powerful, right? Words make a difference in our actions and everything. And so I said, I think we need to say we're going to go slower to go further, and think about it like a 10-speed bike. If you're in first, second gear, you're pedaling like this, but you're really not getting very far. But if it's harder, but you're focusing in that higher gear, you're going slower with your pedaling, but you're really going further. And that's what we're doing with our professional development this year with our teachers. So we have gone through goal setting, which we really tied to Dreambox because it marries very well with that concept. Dreambox is a math program that is set to adjust to a student's abilities, and really it focuses on their zone of performance with a productive struggle. So it's always challenging them in their knowledge and in their skill set, and helping them grow. And so teachers are helping students set goals, and then they're holding those feedback sessions. And we recently met as a guiding team, and we determined that at our next staff meeting, that's that next step that we're going to focus on, is that feedback. How do we give feedback to students? What does that look like? What does it sound like when you're having a one-to-one feedback session with a student? And we actually have teachers who allowed our instructional coach to video them while they've been holding feedback sessions with students. And so we're going to be watching those together as a staff, and reading some really good articles on feedback and the importance of that, of what quality feedback is for our students. So just wanted to let you guys know what we're working on as a staff. And that really falls under that overarching umbrella of one of our 3 focus areas, is providing or ensuring equity and access for all students. So what practices are we doing as a staff that ensure equity and access for every single child, no matter where they're at, no matter what abilities they have? So we're really excited about that. And then a couple other things I wanted to share with you. We are going to host another fun run in March. And so last year our kids did amazing. They raised around $43,000 with the fun run. Our families were so supportive. And I think it really goes back to what Jennifer was saying. With our fundraisers, it's not just selling product, it's really our kids are involved in it. So with Quiz Bowl, the students are really involved in learning about their school and learning certain things, and being able to showcase that knowledge and be invested in that fundraising. And then when the fun run comes around, the students really, they're running or walking for their laps. And they just loved it last year. It was our first year doing it. And for us to net almost $43,000 was incredible. And in fact, one of the things that the 3 top fundraising classes got to do, one of the rewards was to turn some of us into human cheese balls. And so the pandemic didn't let that happen this spring. So then over the summer, I was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be amazing. We're going to have a school-wide assembly with our brand new bleachers, and we're going to be able to do this. Everyone can see it. And then we were told no large assemblies. I was like, oh. So, but we figured it out. And last week was our first, the 5th graders got to turn 3 of us into human cheese balls. We'll be posting pictures in the newsletter. One of my own professional goals this year is to really communicate through that newsletter visually with pictures of things that are going on in our school. So we'll get those posted. We will be human cheese balls tomorrow and then Wednesday. So it's been really, really fun. But we will do another fun run, and we may want to talk as a group. Basically that fun run, with it being March, you got some work that we'll be doing with that in February, and that fundraising. So we may want to wait until later March for the second Spirit Wear store, just so families budget wise, if they want to support their kids during Fun Run, can do that. And then if we do another one late March, early April, just to spread it out over some paychecks, we might want to think about that. And
Lynn,
then,
what did you say? What dates? That was no, good to know. So switch it out
yeah,
to.
it's going to be March. Let me look here. I believe we landed on March 8th through the 12th. If I'm wrong on that, Alyssa, just yell at me. It's okay.
Is there
That sounds
anything
right
else?
in my memory too.
What's that? Is that what you have too?
Yes.
Okay. So, and if it's not the week of the 8th, Jennifer, it's going to be the week of the 15th, but I think it's the week of the 8th. So that early to mid-March.
So we could do Spirit Wear end of March, early April.
Yep. Because that would
Okay.
hit perfect for people who then, when I think about their paychecks and such, they get
Yep.
paid monthly.
Is that, is there anything else going on fundraising wise in the school or collection wise that we should be aware of too, that I don't want?
Right. So this year we do not have a student council intact. So any collections of things are being done either by grade level or by class. So that there's no master plan this year as far as we're going to do the food drive this month and the tie blankets this month. It's really been whatever classrooms or grade levels feel that they can handle. So, and then also, we have been told for third quarter, we will not have field trips, again, just due to the pandemic. So third quarter, no field trips will be taken. And district leadership told me today that they believe that will be the case fourth quarter. Nothing definitive on that, but they do believe that will be the case fourth quarter, simply because I don't think they believe that everybody will have the vaccine or all the students will have vaccines, the community, things like that. I just want to be careful to not push the kids out on field trips in the community and put them at risk of things. So far, no field trips and no visitors third quarter. Also, one thing that we are really, really missing that we got going really well last year, and I know I talked about it at one of the PTO meetings when I talked about how our teachers are working with their PLCs, their professional learning communities, and we're really changing kids around to serve kids. We still will not be able to do that third quarter. Rest assured, we're still working hard to serve all of our students. But what the district is finding is that the elementary numbers for positive COVID cases are much lower than the other two levels of school. And I'm sure it's because we're not switching classes all day like they have to at middle school and high school. So they've decided that, you know what, let's not switch for classroom interventions. Of course, students who have individual education plans still get those services, get pulled out for that. Everything is perfectly in line with that. But when we talk about switching classrooms to say, hey, these kids didn't do well on this one, these kids really excelled, let me take your 2 here, you take my 3 here, and let's really specialize our instruction for those kids. That's what we're holding off on, and we're doing that within the classroom. Mind you, though, we also continue that hard work of those professional learning communities every Wednesday. So teachers are bringing student work to the table as a grade level and taking a look at where do we see, what pattern do we see where kids are struggling, where are they excelling, and then they work together to design what they think would be the best intervention for that. So lots of good things, lots of hard work going on, and that's all I have. And feel free to ask any questions, and if I don't know the answer, I'll just defer to Alyssa.
You do have a question about Dreambox, Lynn. And
Okay.
Jay, if you want to go ahead and ask your question.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hey, Principal Gillette, it's Jay.
Hi.
Hey, I shuffled the family off and already finished this. So the question is about Dreambox and about, we had picked up about 1.5 years ago, maybe 2 years ago, Prodigy for the kids. And I've really liked that particular, you probably know it, but I consider it kind of like a math role-playing game for kids. And we got them like whatever is a membership. And so I get like weekly reports along with I get to set goals for them. If they hit those goals, I can send them a prize. But it seems like the kind of thing that is similar to what you're talking about with Dreambox. If we wanted to look at that in the future as a particular type of app similar to Dreambox, I don't know what all they have for goal setting for kids, but it's really nice to see. I know each week how many problems they did, where they're struggling, and then I can adjust either the level that they're at or how many they need to get right in order to set their goal.
Mhm.
So I just know from a parent standpoint, that one I've really liked. But like I said, I haven't dug into Dreambox as much, but it would be a potential, down the road if we wanted to look at a different type of app.
Right, right. And what we would do with that then is I would bring that forward to our district curriculum coordinator and tell her that this has come up as one idea and see what she knows about it, and also see if they can research that to see if that is something that would be a district-wide that they'd want to implement. I think one of the reasons they went with Dreambox is because it is tied. We can actually, according to how students are performing on MAP, through the NWEA, we can actually set NWEA goals. We can set two types of focus areas. So one is that NWEA, and then one is that grade level or standards-based goal. So they have both that they can be working on. And so I think that is what really drew the district to Dreambox, on top of that goal setting and feedback and tracking. And then, of course, that element of you hit this and you get a little bit of that game flavor on it. Alyssa, do you have any additional insight as both a teacher, having used as a teacher and then also as an admin too, that would be helpful?
Yes. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news because I personally never used it in the classroom, Prodigy, but from other colleagues that I had worked with, I've heard really good things about Prodigy. Last year, I do remember some specific language that we were given by the district that we are not allowed to use Dreambox. I think that is because exactly what Lynn said, our district decided to move forward with Dreambox. And so
Wait, Alyssa, I just need to clarify. You said that the district said not to use Dreambox, but you meant Prodigy, right?
Oh, sorry.
That's
not
okay.
to use Prodigy because we are using Dreambox. Like that is the district selected math tool that we were going to be using. Like if we were going to compare Dreambox and Prodigy, our district decided to go with Dreambox. So if teachers were using Prodigy, we were asked nicely last year to not continue using those accounts. I don't know if it could still be worth bringing that up to our curriculum coordinator though, just to ask, for some further clarification on what's the why behind that. But I do know last year we did get language, at least in my previous building, that we were not going to be using Prodigy moving forward.
And what I could do, Jay, is I love what Alyssa said about the why. Sometimes I just really need the why. And I do recall now, Alyssa, I couldn't remember if it was necessarily Prodigy, but I know it was, the one that we're going to focus on is Dreambox. So Jay, I have no problem of reaching out to the district curriculum coordinator and just getting that, those reasons and that why to share with you if you'd like.
I think that would be great. And I think the other part of it is that I think we ramped up use of it last year or spring term.
Mhm.
And so I've just come to expect their report cards each week. And so even if there's a way to bridge the gap of what one does over the other one, or where to go for report cards, or where to help with some of that goal setting, I think that would be very helpful. Yes, please.
Awesome. Okay. All right. And then I believe, and Jay, thanks for bringing that up. I believe that is everything I had on my list, Jennifer, to share with PTO.
Dory, do you need her? You're taking all the notes, or do you need her to submit to you no, you're good. Okay. Perfect. Awesome. I just wanted to make sure you're getting what you need to make your job a bit easier. And then let's move on to Tim, financial report.
Okay. So I'll just briefly go through our budget. If you can pull that up. Most of the items that are new the last 2 months we've already discussed here in the agenda. So I will just briefly go through each section. There's no any real issues with the budget or anything. Regarding supporting students and events, again, the one thing that we added was our quiz bowl. As Jill noted, we raised a little bit over $16,000, and our expenses were, although it says 780, I would say that it'll probably be about 1,200. So a total net out of 15,000 over our budgeting of 13,500. So that's 1,500 over budget. That's the only item we have in that first section there. As of right now, due to COVID, a lot of things will not be doing this year. So we're on budget with that. And going down, supporting teachers and staff. And we discussed this last PTO meeting. We're a little bit over budget on the meals donations just because we're catering as opposed to doing the having people bring in through Sign Up Genius. But again, as Jill noted, we did send out an email asking for donations, and we've seen a pretty good response to that. Purchase cards, those are the same as last meeting. We do have a final tally for the classroom party funds. Total raise was about 3,100, and we paid out 2,340. So we had a net gain of $760 on that. So again, we're good on budget there. I do have a couple things that have not gone through, such as about $1,200 for book room. But again, if you look at the bottom, I think we're on budget for those items as well too. And then Spiritware, it's a little bit different, as Jennifer noted. Right now we're just budgeting $800 pure profit. We don't have any expenses because we switched vendors. In the beginning of the year, we only budgeted a $600 profit for the entire year. So again, that's doing pretty well. We're ahead of budget there. And then again, for that category as well, we're within budget. And then general PTO, you can look down at the bottom. Everything is well within budget. As you know, the miscellaneous and general fund, nothing is out of the ordinary, is pull over budget. So all in all, our budget looks good. Somebody have any questions?
I always like the tell me where is it red, where is it green, where in a yellow spots. So I take looks good.
So, yep, 21,000 raised so far this year, and $7,700 total. I think our ledger balance at 12/31 was 1100 in our checking account. So,
cool.
So definitely on budget.
And then whatever blew up your phone today.
No, yeah, none of that is in there. So yeah.
Right. All right. If anybody has any questions or doesn't have, if I can get a motion to approve.
Lynn, so motion to approve.
Thanks. In a second.
I'll second Allison.
Thanks, Allison. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Lots of yeses maybe, and hands raised, and no's. Great. Budget has been approved. Any old business that I'm not thinking of? We haven't, again, had a lot of activities going on, but I couldn't think of anything that we hadn't done. And then as far as new business, just always keep in mind on what we can do to support our staff and our teachers for the rest of the remaining school year. I know we'll have teacher appreciation coming up. That's going to be in May. So hopefully we can have a lot of great ideas of what we can do safely to help appreciate our staff and teachers. If anybody has any comments or suggestions on the agenda or other things that needed to be added or taken away from, please let me know. All comments are welcome and appreciated. Our email is located at the bottom there for your reference. Our next meeting will be March 1st. Those are hard ones. It's the first day of a calendar month. Don't forget. We'll send out reminders, but we will be meeting via Zoom again, 6:30. Does anybody have any other thoughts, questions, or concerns before we adjourn for today?
I just want to say thank you so much. I absolutely love our PTO, and you guys are just real, and you're really hardworking people, and you're realistic, but yet accomplishing so many amazing things. So just know that we feel the support of you, and we appreciate you so very much. And for you guys to take extra time out of your days and nights to run the budget, set up the budgets, do all the extras like the book fair, and take all the minutes and share all those and run the PTO Facebook page and the website. Please know that we appreciate you and that we definitely notice you, and we are so grateful. So thank you.
It's our pleasure. All right, can I get a motion to adjourn?
Moved.
Was that Tim?
Tim.
And a second?
I'll second.
Jill? Thank you, Jill. All in favor say yes.
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 Anybody want to hang out and say a no? All right, meeting has been adjourned. We'll get this wrapped up and posted to our YouTube channel as soon as I get that figured out. And we'll send out all of this via link in the next couple of days for those who weren't able to join but still want to stay in the know of what we're kind of up to these days. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you in a couple more months. Take care.